Errol Flynn, the swashbuckling icon of Hollywood's golden age, was no stranger to dangerous stunts. Known for his fearless performances in adventure films, Flynn often insisted on performing his own action sequences. However, one such decision nearly cost him his life. While filming The Adventures of Robin Hood, 1938, Flynn was involved in a perilous scene requiring him to navigate treacherous terrain while engaging in sword fights. During one intense duel, a mistimed move resulted in his opponent's blade slashing dangerously close to his eye. The cut was deep enough to leave a scar, but the real danger came when he lost his balance and nearly fell from a castle wall. Had it not been for a quick-thinking stuntman who grabbed his arm at the last second, Flynn would have plunged to his death. This wasn't his only brush with disaster. On another occasion, while filming Captain Blood, 1935, a stunt involving a pirate ship's mast went horribly wrong when he slipped and narrowly avoided being impaled on a sword. Despite these terrifying moments, Flynn remained committed to performing his own stunts, solidifying his reputation as one of Hollywood's most daring actors. Jean Harlow, the original blonde bombshell of Hollywood's golden age, captivated audiences with her beauty and charisma. However, behind the glamour, she suffered a terrifying health crisis that nearly claimed her life while filming Saratoga, 1937. During production, Harlow began experiencing severe fatigue, bloating, and unbearable back pain. At first, these symptoms were dismissed as exhaustion from her demanding schedule. But as filming progressed, her condition worsened. Her face became puffy, her skin turned pale, and she struggled to stand under the hot studio lights. On set one day, she collapsed, prompting immediate concern. It was later revealed that Harlow was suffering from acute kidney failure, a condition that had likely been developing for years due to an untreated infection. Despite her deteriorating health, MGM executives pressured her to continue working. Tragically, she never finished Saratoga. Just weeks after her collapse, Jean Harlow passed away at the age of 26. The film was completed using a body double, leaving fans heartbroken. Her sudden decline remains one of Hollywood's most tragic moments, a haunting reminder of the dangers early stars faced in an industry that often prioritized profit over their well-being. Wallace Reid, one of the biggest heartthrobs of silent-era Hollywood, lived the glamorous life of a matinee idol. But behind the charm and fame, a tragic accident on set led to a downward spiral that nearly killed him before claiming his life. While filming The Valley of the Giants, 1919, Reid was involved in a serious train accident. He suffered a severe head injury and multiple wounds, but instead of receiving proper medical treatment, studio executives insisted he continue working. To keep up with the grueling filming schedule, doctors prescribed morphine to help him manage the pain. At first, it seemed like a temporary solution, but soon, Reid became dependent on the drug. As production continued, his addiction worsened. His once vibrant presence on screen began to fade, and his health deteriorated rapidly. By 1922, he was in critical condition, suffering from extreme weight loss and organ failure. Despite multiple attempts to recover, he died in a sanitarium at just 31 years old. Wallace Reid's tragic story exposed Hollywood's dark side, where studios prioritized profits over their stars' well-being, leading many to suffer in silence. Marlene Dietrich, the sultry and enigmatic star of Hollywood's golden age, was known for her elegance and fearless performances. However, one filming experience nearly cost her life, proving that even the most glamorous stars weren't immune to danger. While shooting Destry Rides Again, 1939, Dietrich was involved in a saloon brawl scene where she was supposed to be thrown onto a table. The scene was meant to be carefully choreographed, but something went terribly wrong. The force of the throw was too strong, causing Dietrich to land awkwardly and hit her head against the table's sharp edge. She momentarily lost consciousness, and the crew rushed to her aid, fearing the worst. Though she regained consciousness quickly, she suffered a severe concussion and bruised ribs. The production was briefly halted, but Dietrich, ever the professional, insisted on finishing the film. The incident left her shaken, but she continued performing high-risk scenes throughout her career. Her brush with death highlighted the physical risks actors took before the advent of modern stunt safety measures. Despite the danger, Dietrich's resilience only added to her legendary status as one of Hollywood's most captivating stars. Buster Keaton, the silent-era genius known for his daring stunts and stone-faced humor, built his career on performing real-life dangerous feats. However, one such stunt nearly ended his life while filming Sherlock Jr., 1924. In one scene, Keaton was supposed to run along the top of a moving train and grab onto a water tower's spout as it dumped water onto the tracks. The stunt was designed for comedic effect, but it turned into a terrifying ordeal. When he grabbed the spout, the force of the gushing water knocked him off the train and slammed him onto the steel rails below. Keaton hit his head so hard that he briefly blacked out, but remarkably, he got up and finished the scene, unaware that he had fractured his neck. He only discovered the severity of the injury years later when a doctor reviewed his x-rays. The fact that Keaton continued performing after such a serious injury highlights his commitment to his craft, but also the extreme risks early Hollywood stars took for entertainment. His near-death experience in Sherlock Jr. remains one of the most dangerous moments in silent film history. Carole Lombard, the dazzling queen of screwball comedies, was known for her quick wit and boundless energy. However, her life took a tragic turn when a decision to rush back to Hollywood led to a fatal accident that nearly spared her, but didn't. In January 1942, Lombard had just finished a war bond tour to support the U.S. military during World War II. Eager to reunite with her husband, Clark Gable, she was scheduled to return home by train. However, impatient to get back sooner, she insisted on taking a flight despite concerns about air travel safety at the time. Tragically, her plane crashed into Potosi Mountain in Nevada, killing all 22 passengers on board. What makes her death eerily chilling is that she reportedly flipped a coin to decide whether to fly or take the train. Had the coin landed differently, she might have avoided the disaster. Her shocking death at just 33 years old left Hollywood in mourning, with Gable devastated. Lombard's tragic end remains one of the most haunting Hollywood stories, a cruel twist of fate that cut short the life of one of its brightest stars. Greta Garbo, the enigmatic Swedish star of Hollywood's golden age, was known for her mysterious aura and unmatched talent. However, during the filming of The Mysterious Lady, 1928, she had a terrifying brush with death that could have ended her career and her life. In one pivotal scene, Garbo's character was supposed to ride a horse through a foggy forest. The horse, spooked by the bright studio lights and sudden movements, suddenly bolted, throwing Garbo violently from the saddle. She landed hard, hitting her head on a rock and briefly losing consciousness. The crew rushed to her side, fearing the worst. Miraculously, she regained consciousness but was left with a severe concussion and deep bruises. Despite her injuries, Garbo refused to let the accident delay production. She resumed filming after only a brief rest, embodying the resilience and professionalism that defined her career. This near-fatal accident remained one of the few times Garbo's carefully controlled life slipped into chaos. It was a reminder that even the most composed and graceful stars weren't immune to danger in an era before modern safety standards in filmmaking. Clark Gable, the rugged leading man of Hollywood's golden age, was known for his charm and daring roles. But few know that he had a terrifying near-death experience off-screen while serving in World War II. In 1942, devastated by the tragic death of his wife, Carole Lombard, Gable enlisted in the U.S. Army Air Forces. He trained as an aerial gunner and was assigned to a combat film unit to document air missions. During a high-risk training flight over England, disaster struck. The B-17 bomber he was flying in was hit by enemy fire, causing severe damage. As the aircraft struggled to stay in the air, shrapnel ripped through the fuselage, narrowly missing Gable's head. A few inches closer, and Hollywood would have lost one of its biggest stars. Despite the chaos, Gable kept his composure and survived the emergency landing. After completing his service, he returned to Hollywood, but the experience left a lasting impact. His near-death moment in the war added to his legend, proving that the bravery he displayed on screen was just as real in his own life. James Cagney, the tough-talking gangster icon of Hollywood's golden age, wasn't just acting when it came to danger, he lived it. Known for performing many of his own stunts, Cagney had a terrifying near-death experience while filming The Public Enemy, 1931. In one intense scene, Cagney's character was supposed to be forcefully thrown to the ground during a brutal fight. The stunt was rehearsed multiple times, but when the cameras rolled, the actor playing his opponent got a little too aggressive. Cagney's head slammed into the concrete floor with full force, knocking him unconscious. Crew members rushed to his aid, fearing he had suffered a fatal injury. When he finally woke up, he was disoriented and in severe pain. Doctors later revealed that he had suffered a concussion and a fractured rib. However, the studio, eager to keep filming on schedule, pressured him to return to set as soon as possible. Despite his injuries, Cagney, ever the professional, pushed through and completed the film. This terrifying incident taught Cagney to be more cautious with stunts, leading him to later insist on better safety measures. His brush with death remains one of Hollywood's most shocking on-set accidents. Barbara Stanwyck, the fierce and versatile star of Hollywood's golden age, was known for her dedication to realism in her performances. However, her commitment nearly cost her life while filming Night Nurse, 1931. In one scene, Stanwyck's character was supposed to be violently thrown to the ground by a co-star. Wanting to make the moment as authentic as possible, she insisted on performing the stunt herself rather than using a double. But during filming, the timing went wrong. She was thrown harder than expected and lost control of her fall. She hit the floor headfirst, knocking herself unconscious. The set was thrown into chaos as the crew rushed to her side, fearing she had suffered a fatal spinal injury. Miraculously, after regaining consciousness, she insisted she was fine and wanted to continue filming. However, she later revealed that she suffered from severe neck pain for years after the accident. Stanwyck's brush with death reinforced her reputation as one of Hollywood's toughest actresses. Despite the dangers, she continued performing her own stunts throughout her career, proving that her fearless on-screen persona was just as real in life. Gary Cooper, the tall, rugged leading man of Hollywood's golden age, was no stranger to physically demanding roles. However, while filming The Plainsman 1936, he had a terrifying brush with death that could have ended his career, or worse. In one intense action sequence, Cooper was required to ride a galloping horse at full speed across rough terrain. The scene was supposed to be controlled, but something went terribly wrong. As he charged forward, his horse suddenly stumbled on uneven ground, throwing Cooper violently over its head. He hit the ground hard, landing face-first with such force that the crew feared he had broken his neck. Stunned and barely conscious, Cooper was rushed to a doctor, who diagnosed him with a severe concussion, cracked ribs, and deep bruises. Despite his injuries, he returned to set after only a short recovery, determined to finish the film. This near-fatal accident didn't stop Cooper from continuing to perform dangerous stunts throughout his career. His resilience and toughness only added to his legendary status, proving that his on-screen heroics weren't just for show. Joan Crawford, the glamorous yet fiercely determined star of Hollywood's golden age, was known for her dedication to her craft. However, during the filming of Rain, 1932, she had a terrifying near-death experience that could have ended her career and her life. The film required heavy use of artificial rain to create a stormy atmosphere, which meant large amounts of water were constantly pouring onto the set. One day, while filming an emotional scene, Crawford accidentally stepped into a puddle near an exposed electrical wire. Suddenly, a jolt of electricity surged through her body, causing her to collapse on set. Crew members rushed to cut the power and pull her away just in time. Crawford was left shaken, with burns on her feet and hands, but incredibly, she insisted on continuing production. Though she recovered, the accident left her deeply wary of on-set safety hazards. Her brush with death reinforced her reputation as one of Hollywood's most fearless actresses. Despite the dangers, she continued to take on challenging roles, proving that her resilience was as legendary as her screen presence. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and comment. Also, consider subscribing and hitting the notification bell to be notified of our new videos each day. Thanks for watching.